Hey guys, welcome back to Commands with Jragon. Today we are going to be combining two modules together, well kind of three. I'm incorporating my old spells module with this, but I'm incorporating my spells module with my Tinker's Tools and my Dragonian armor. So these are all going to be outdated soon and they're going to be replaced with this new module that we're working on together. So you're going to be able to craft 54 different pieces of equipment. 54? That's insane! Exactly, that's why it's going to be so awesome. It's because it's absolutely an insane project, it's going to be laggy, and I'm going to have a horrible time trying to fix this lag, but hey, let's just do this. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is change that 54 to a 49. I'll explain that in a moment. Okay, so here's my very complicated chart. The coloured wool, or the rose, is the type of armour, and then the columns are the armor piece that it's associated with. So I've completed the leggings so far, so you can get 6 different kinds of leggings. You can get haste, resistance, jump boost, speed, strength, and fire resistance. Now you'll notice it says power equals 3, power equals 1, or power equals 1. That's how much Dragonium it will consume over time. So the haste 2 leggings will consume 3 times as much Dragonium as the resistance ones over time. Now you'll see here, over here, it says use equals 1. Now that's how much Dragonium is used every time you use this particular machine, or in this case the boots. So to use the boots you're going to jump and press shift, and then it will attract all items to you for the Strondite armor, that's right. This one will summon a golem, this one will negate all fall damage, this one allows you to walk through walls. Haven't decided what I should do here. And this one will levitate mobs. So I've almost finished the chart, but I just wanted to get started with you guys. So the way Dragonium is going to be crafted is very similar to how it was before, except it's going to require one of these beacons. So you throw the items on, 1 redstone block, 64 quartz blocks, and 1 diamond will make 32 Dragonium. So I think that's reasonably priced. If you disagree, please let me know in the comments. So all you need to do to craft the armor is throw a gold version of it onto the respective colored beacon. So it requires a beacon now because it was overpowered before. People were getting it early game and skipping a lot of the game's content because of that. So that's why it's requiring a beacon now. So you have to kill the wither before you are worthy of this armor. So in this case, because it's yellow, you'll get the Strondite armor. The grey will give you the Pallium armor, the Lexium, the Therium, the Anium, and the Purium. Whew, I think that explains it all. Oh, except for one thing. To use the ability of the chest plate, you must have a Dragonium axe, which is used just by throwing a golden axe onto any one of these. It's universal, hence why I subtracted the amount of items that you needed to begin with, because I couldn't think of enough unique abilities for the axe, and I thought, hey, it's so much easier if you could just combine that with the chest plate and have a new weapon that only works depending on what kind of chest plate you have, which I think is a interesting, cool little mechanic. So why is this thing going to be so difficult? Well, it's got to do with the fact that it may or may not require 250 command blocks to pull this all off, so I'm going to need more efficient ways of doing this rather than detecting these items individually. So for crafting the actual items, it's going to require 49 command blocks. No way around that. Crafting the Dragonium, 6 command blocks, also no way around that. Detecting the items, the item ID itself, 49 command blocks, no way around that. The abilities, that can be reduced quite significantly, as well as the fuel, and detecting the items again can also be reduced quite significantly. And then our total can be reduced to hopefully 200 command blocks, which is about a 20% decrease. Here's a funny coincidence. My Tinker's Construct tools plus my Dragonium plus my spells equals exactly 250 command blocks. So all in all, we're not actually going to lose anything in terms of lag. In fact, this is going to be more optimized than before. Okay, so with my current plan, this is the crafting system so far. First of all, it detects if it's in a viable area, and then it determines what kind of item it is. From there, it will determine whether or not to give a yellow, grey, blue, green, red, or purple tag, depending on the armor type, and then it will do an entity data command for each individual item. What I'm going to propose is something else. Rather than doing a large entity data command for each item, we are going to give it an ID using enchantments, and that will cut down our command blocks by this much, which is very, very good for us. And of course we have our 6 iron blocks for the actual crafting of the Dragonium. You still need to craft them on here, but it's not going to care what kind of stained glass is below it, so long as the beacon and the rest of the structure is present. Come to think of it, if I use an ID system, then I probably won't even need these command blocks to begin with. So now we've just cut our command block capacity by another 9, which is fantastic. This is awesome. Well, it's been 1 day since my last recording, and I figured I'd show you what I've got so far. This module is now a lot tinier now, but I kind of cheated a little bit, so you can actually use items that what the hell? I really hope that didn't scare you as much as it scared me. Okay, so let's try this again. So you can throw any old item on it. There we go. And it changes the entity data. So this one is treated with Strondite, and you can see it's got colors, and it's also got 4 new tags. Now, this is how we're going to identify the different items. So it's actually pretty simple. The first command block is going to detect if the beacon is there, so you can actually remove these blocks and it will still be able to do that, but that's pretty pointless considering that you need to detect the 3 pieces of stained glass next, and if it detects 3 pieces of stained glass, these are the 6 different commands, then it's going to run an entity data command, which is going to obviously change the nature of the item. So it's going to give it some motion and some tags, blah blah blah. Alright, so it's doing a long detect command to detect what kind of glass it is, and then once it figures out what kind of glass it's sitting on, then it's going to do an entity data, and it's going to add this tag here, can place on Minecraft's stone. Now this is important because it's survival mode, it's irrelevant, I've hidden the flags, but this is important because this is going to be my new way of kind of tagging the items, so when you pick it up, that tag is still going to apply, and I can use that to run command blocks to detect whether or not you're holding it or not. And then it's going to change the lore and the color. Now the color is important because that means when you throw your leather items on there, it will actually change the color there. Righto, so that's cool. And then, yes, and the cool thing about using this method is that you can't actually cheat it. Before you could just repair lots of broken items, and then because it's doing a summon command it wouldn't know what the durability was, but with this method, if I give myself, let's say, a leather chest plate with that's half broken and I throw this here, it's going to know that it's half broken and it's going to keep it that way, so you can't actually cheat and repair items with this method. In addition to this, you can treat something as many times as you like. So even though the durability is still the same, it's now treated with Lexian instead of Pallium. And we can go over here and let's treat it with Centurium. There we go. And it does that cool little motion. Now the problem that I'm having at the moment is that if there's more than 1 item on here, it just crashes your game. And, well, it does this quite fine. I can do this if I wanted. I can put multiple items on multiple places. But for some reason, if I just put them both in the same spot, my game will just crash, and I have no way around that. That's a bug in the snapshot. You will also notice that I'm getting some weird spikes in my framing. I mean, it is a solid 30 most of the time, but I have no idea what's causing these spikes. Then, of course, once it's been treated, then these 2 command blocks are going to run. This is just for visuals because we can actually afford it this time. It's going to test if it's been treated, that's what these command blocks back here do, and then it's just going to detect if it hasn't got the tag of done, and if that's true then it's going to summon a firework, and then it's going to give it a tag of done so it won't do that ever again. And that's why it was broken before, because that command block wasn't activated and it scared the hell out of me. But for now, that's all I'm going to do this episode. I'd love to hear your feedback on this kind of new module. But for now, thanks everyone for watching. I will see you in the next one. Take care.